Hello and welcome to a live webinar, which is a teacher's guide to getting started with Google Sites. Really pleased to see that a few people have managed to join us live, and hopefully a few others will be joining us to catch up on demand at a time that suits them. Now, I completely understand that it can be difficult this time of year, especially in the run up to Christmas, to be able to fit everything in. And maybe you're looking towards the new year for a New Year's resolution in terms of trying something different with digital. Well, hopefully the short webinar series, which I'm putting together between now and Christmas, will give you some ideas of things that you can do at home to get yourself started. So let me know about that in the chat as well. So just as a quick introduction, my name's Ian Vosser. I'm the Faculty Head of Technologies here at Braze High School. And I'm also a Google Certified Trainer and Innovator, which means I've done a bit of training with them to look at how we can best use the Google for Education tools that are available to us to be able to transform what we're doing in the classroom. So quite keen today to talk to you about that and have a look at Google Sites in particular. So when I'm thinking about Google Sites, I guess, what is the primary reason? Why am I so keen to use this as a package? Well, Google Sites certainly helps you create and build beautiful websites. So why would I want to build fancy websites? Well, I guess if something is visually engaging, then that can certainly help us with our learners in terms of helping them, getting them on board and excited about what we're doing. And I think what's really nice is the simplicity of the package that allows us to build the nice design of website as well. And I'll talk you through how we can look at the different themes and the different designs. So, of course, as a teacher, I can build a website and see what that looks like and get that published and get people accessing it. And I can be really restrictive as well about who has access to these sites as well. So that's nice as well in terms of having that control. But as well as that, I can get young people to build beautiful websites in terms of information they want to share, or I can get them to create portfolios of work. So I know we spent a lot of time a few years ago looking at portfolios, especially in Scottish education, for transition points at the end of primary 7, and again at the end of S3, and then of course in terms of the portfolios that we have for leavers who are going on to either further education, higher education, or work. Their portfolios may take the form of a CV or some other written statement. What Google Sites gives us the opportunity to do is to take their work and display it in a really nice format and bring together all the best pieces of work in a digital portfolio. So we'll have a little discussion about how we can do that as well and give some examples. Inbuilt with all the Google for Education tools is, of course, collaboration. And I think what's nice is our ability for teachers and learners to be able to work together in terms of both being able to make live edits to the same document and giving each other permission to be able to make those changes. So you can have teachers and learners working together, groups of teachers working together, or groups of learners working together as well. So there's lots of different options there. So the case is very much for people to decide who in particular wants to be able to edit what, and then off you go. I think one of the things that has been really nice is I've seen some people create almost some electronic books using Google Sites, and I'll show you how you can turn the menus in Google Sites on and off, so you can create this linear experience where people have to work through a series of activities, because being able to create an electronic book is really fancy, and being able to bring in lots of different media into that, being videos or documents or slide decks, and I can show you how all of those items can get embedded into your Google site. A super fun activity that I like to do in Google Sites is to create your own wikis. So every child is familiar with Wikipedia. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll let you debate that. But I certainly know when we're looking at Wikipedia and creating wikis in terms of having lots of information about topics, it's really good for us to be able to get that information together. So we'll look at those as well. One of the reasons staff try to create Google Sites is to be able to support a flipped classroom approach. So this is where the learning is introduced through video or other content before learners arrive to the classroom, and then they're looking at the application of that new knowledge and the new skills in the classroom. So being able to have all that information in one place can be really good. So I think Google Sites works well for that. But on top of just using it to be able to support class, have something that you're using to present and share out with people, You can also have sites to be able to manage your own curriculum plans and be able to display the information. So maybe within a team of teachers or just for yourself, so you can have a real clear overview of where you're intending to go and visually see those resources come alive in front of you across the different pages or page, depending on how you set it up. And as well as managing and sharing curriculum plans within your Google site, you could also do key classroom information as well. So you might store your kind of routines or the ability to be able to store seating plans, and it's quite intuitive in terms of moving items around and dragging and dropping different pieces of text and stuff. So you can be really creative there, and I will touch on that during our kind of walkthrough of Google Sites today. But if you just tap into Google, seating plans in Google Sites, you'll certainly come up with lots of ideas there. So as I've already alluded to while I was talking, you've got complete control over who can see your site, who can edit your site in terms of what type of level it's published at. So I'm using Google Sites at Braze High School, and we use that through Glow, and Glow allows us to publish it just for individuals, and we can select that within our council area, or if you're a teacher, you can publish it on the internet. Learners can't publish work straight out onto the internet. They're restricted to only being able to publish it within their local council, and then people will need to log in with their Glow Google account to be able to access that. So we'll go in and we'll see some of those settings as well. So I guess all that's really left for me to say is Google Sites. Let's get started. Let's have a look at how we use it and how we can get going. So to kick off, I'm going to show you how I would access Google Sites. Now, one of the things that we might wish to do, and I'll bring my screen a bit bigger for this. One of the things that we might wish to do if we're using Glow, and I would absolutely recommend it, is to access Google Sites by clicking on the tile in Glow that says Google Drive. And I've created myself a new account to demonstrate this today, and it's outside of Glow, just so we don't accidentally share any information. But from Google Drive here, we can see here, we can go up to the new button here, and if we go down to the more option, we've got the Google Sites option there. So the good reason to go through Drive and the tile in Glow is because it will automatically authenticate you into the Glow part of Google and G Suite, which is really, really important. So we're keeping all our files nice and secure. If I am logged in and it says Glow at the top corner here, and then my initial, I can also find Google Sites by going to my waffle here and then go down to Google Sites. So here I am loading into Google Sites, and the first time I load into Google Sites, I'm going to get myself a little tour if I want it and some information. So there's two types of Google Sites that have existed. There's an old Google Sites, or the classic sites as it's called, and then we've got new Google Sites. I would strongly recommend that you make use of the new Google Sites. So I'm just going to press got it here to be able to continue. There's a bit of information that tells us about how Google Drive's been and is changing, and how often information is deleted forever. So I'm just going to dismiss that out. So we do have a choice when we start here. We can start a new site from a template, and we've got a template gallery up here. And the template gallery can certainly be worth looking at in terms of if you've already got an idea and you want some placeholders already set up, then that's well worth looking at. But for today, I'm just going to start with looking at a blank site, and I'm just going to walk you through a number of the different features. So we've looked at how we access Google Sites, and here it is loading. And now we're going to look at how we create our first Google site. What I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to skip this talk because we're going to walk it through ourselves. Okay, so the very first thing I would do is go up here and give my site a name. So I'm just going to roll with blended learning. That's something that is certainly very in at the moment and very popular. And you can see when I've typed a name up here, it automatically names it here. And if I go back to my Drive tab here, you can see my blended learning site has appeared within my Drive. Okay, going back into the Google site here. Okay, so after I've named the site, I want to really start maybe just looking at the design overall before I start getting too stuck into what my pages are going to do and what content I've got. So I like to go across to the themes section here, and I've got down the right-hand side here a number of different options. I quite like this Aristotle look here. And you can personalize the colors and the font style just by selecting this. If the colors here aren't a color palette that you're looking for, just click here on the fill button, and you can type in a hex code or pick a color from here. If you're wondering what the color hex codes are, stick color hex codes into Google and it will tell you. I know for a nice braze red, I go hashtag EA4335, I think. Hit enter, there we go. So that's giving me now a nice red bar here. And so I would certainly spend a bit of time exploring through the different themes that I might wish to start with. Okay. Focusing then a little bit on my homepage. Well, I'm going to want to welcome people, so I might have homepage or welcome. You can, of course, pick any content that is suitable for you. And I've got control over here in terms of where I put the welcome, so I could tuck it over here, stick it over here, or just leave it in the middle. And what's really nice is it will automatically reformat for you depending on what device you're on as well. And I'll show you what the preview of that looks like. I get a number of different header types that I can choose, and I can choose different header types for each of my web pages. So my home page, I quite often like the big cover experience for my users. So I quite often select cover. And if I go back, I'm not quite sure I like the picture of a building. So if I go to change image here, I can choose to upload the image or select an image. If I've got an image I've already taken and it's on my local device, I can use upload, or I can use select image. Going to select image, it gives me a choice to be able to do it by gallery, a URL if I've got an image that I'm allowed to use from somewhere else, say a school website or something, or I can go to Google Drive here. Today, I'm just going to pick this image here from the stock images that they have available and press select. You can see here, it's automatically adjusted the colors so that you can see welcome down here. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I can remove that readability adjustment. So you can see that's made it a bit brighter. That's just a bit softer on the eyes. If you upload your own image, it will take a little bit of time to do that readability adjustment. That's well worth doing just in terms of being thoughtful of the accessibility for people who are trying to use your website. Okay, so I've got a welcome page there. I'm not going to add anything else to that page for now. I'm going to go to this pages option here, and I'm going to add myself my first full page I'm going to put content on. So I'm going to go down to the plus symbol down here, and it loads and gives me a new page option. So I'm going to select that. It asks me for a name for my new page. I'm just going to call this support videos. Of course, you would give the name whatever is appropriate for your website, and I'm going to press done. You can see it's created support videos, and it's mimicked the same look and style as my home page. Well, I'm not going to want it to stay looking like that, so I'm going to go to the header type here, and I'm just going to make this a small banner. Not sure if I like that, or I could go title only. And you've got, some flexibility and choice there. So let's just stick with title only for now. You can see what also loaded automatically was the menu bar started to form. So if I click on home, and I've got support videos here, just like so. Every time you add a web page, that menu automatically creates, and that gives you all your internal hyperlinks across the website. Now then, let's look at inserting some content into this web page. So if I go to insert, I immediately get some options, and those options are in terms of the layout options here. I find these is a really good place to start if you're wanting to build a particular style to your website. So I'm going to click here, and it just drops the layout in for me. When this layout drops in, you can see I've got the option for some header text, I've got some option for some additional text, and I've also got the option to add some other content. So I'm going to press here on my little plus sign to start with adding some content here. And you can see the type of content that I can make available is quite extensive. So I could upload a file from my local computer. So for example, if I had a Word document or a PowerPoint, I could upload those and place them there. If I've got an image already stored somewhere, I can select an image or use an image from their image bank, or I can get something from my Google Drive. So if I'm already using Google Drive and I've got some Google Docs, or I've got Google Slides, or I've got something in Google Sheets, then then I can use the From Drive option to be able to add the items from there. I've also got the option to be able to add something from YouTube, Calendar, or from Google Maps. So this might be useful if I'm creating a website and we're going on a school trip somewhere and I want to point out some key pieces of information. For now, though, I'm going to add something from YouTube. When the page loads, I just need to find the YouTube video that I'm looking for. I know on my YouTube channel, I've got a video about asynchronous learning that's quite useful. So I'm just going to type in Mr. Botter, and I'm delighted to see that nothing was found. Let's try that without the space again. There we go. At the top here, we can see we've got supporting asynchronous learning at home, and I'm going to select that and drop that in there. I can then, in the right-hand side here, type in whatever content I want. Now, when I'm looking at this text, I have a number of options for formatting it. So you can see here at the moment, it's just automatically giving me a normal text style, but I can change the style just by going to the drop-down menu and selecting it. Alternatively, I can highlight the text, I can make it bold or italic and change its alignment, or add it or turn it into a hyperlink if I wanted to send them somewhere else. And that's all options there. I've also got this ability here to be able to remove it, or if you like, remember the days when we used to have MySpace and Bebo and you could type in bits of code to be able to make your fonts look different and really personalized and unique. You can also stick a bit of code in there as well. So that's an option for the more advanced users. But just in terms of keeping it super simple, I can drop some things in from my layouts. Some other things that I find that are quite nice, this collapsible text option. I know the children like to use this quite a lot when they're making websites. So they can give themselves a header, and then they can put some text in the space here. And they can do that for, say, 3 or 4 different questions or sections. And the text only appears when you click into the header. And you can see here you get the option to be able to turn that collapsible nature on and off. Table of contents is possible, along with something called an image carousel. An image carousel is really nice if you want to create a gallery to be able to show off work. Let's say you've got 3 or 4 photographs taken, you can place your image carousel in, and it will ask you to insert the images. You can either upload your images from the computer, or you can select the images if you've already got them stored in Google Drive, for example. I'm going to cancel out of that for now. Okay, looking down the rest of these options here, I have the ability to be able to just drop in a little line if I just want to be able to break my page up slightly. And I've also got YouTube, Calendar, Map, Docs, Slide, Sheets, Forms, and also the option to be able to get charts. So if I've made some charts, having done some analysis in Google Sheets, I can get just the chart out and display that information. Quite often you might see the ability to be able to get embed code, which allows you to stick other items into your website. So for example, if I go to publish.twitter.com, it will load up what embed code I would like for a particular Twitter handle. So I'm just going to stick in here my Twitter handle, which is at Mr. Vossa. And then it automatically generates the code for me. So I can copy the code and I can go back and I can go down to my embed option here, embed code, and I can just drop that in there. And it's now giving me this tweet Mr. Vossa option. You can then resize that as well, just because it doesn't need to be quite as big as it defaulted to, just like so. You can also spend a little bit more time fiddling around with the Twitter publish options to get information from the timeline as well. So that's quite a handy, neat little feature. So with the insert options and adding content to your page, it's just a case of looking through it, having a bit of a play and picking out the bits that work for you, and just slowly building the website up. I would start with simple web pages with simple bits of information, and as your confidence grows and as your knowledge of what your user likes, then you add more information to it. So if I go back to my pages here, you can see here that when I click on the plus item down here, I have the option to create a new page, but I also had the option to be able to add a new link. So if I click on the new link here, I can give this link a name. So I'm just going to link to the BBC website. So I'm going to type in here BBC, then I'm going to type in www.bbc.co.uk. www.untitled.co.uk. And I can choose whether that opens in a new tab or not and press done. So you can see that displays slightly differently, but this is really useful if I've got multiple Google sites. I can start linking my sites together. So if I've got, for example, different departments working on different aspects of the course, I can link them together through using that link option by getting the URL of the Google site. Or if I want to link to external resources, because BBC Bitesize has got something good on it, or Scholar, then I can do that as well by dropping in that link option. As your website builds up, you might find that you've got lots of different web pages and you want a bit of a hierarchical structure to it. If I go to support videos here, I can choose to set this as the home page if I want to, or I could duplicate it if I wanted to copy a page and then just change it. But I can also have this option here where I can add a sub page. So I'm just going to call this one more videos and press done. You can see here this allows me to have a menu on support videos now. And I can click on support videos and see that page, or I can go to the more videos page, and that's just giving me the basic outline of a page with no content on it. But I would obviously go about adding the content as and when I'm ready. Okay, so we've got ourselves a nice menu being built up there, which is really nice. I'm going to make a further page here. I'm just going to call this page secret page. I'm going to press done. Okay, so if I go to my more options on my secret page, and I'm going to hide this from the navigation, so it's disappeared from any of the options here. Can't find it anywhere. So people can't access this unless I link to it. So if I go into my more videos page, what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to insert myself some text box, and I'm going to put link to secret page. If I wanted to create an experience where people have to click through page to page to page and the page isn't in the menu, I can then insert the link here, and you can see I've got my secret page option, and I can press apply. So that means the only way someone's going to be able to access that secret page is if they go to the home page and find themselves down to more videos, and then there's a link in there to that secret page, and that's just loaded up there for me, which I followed, which is really nice. Okay. So that's given us the initial outline then of being able to add content and pages. We've had a little look at how we can change our themes, add more pages, create ourselves a bit of a menu structure, manage that menu structure with showing and hiding a number of different pages as well, and then looking at all the insert options in terms of the content that we can put in, how we can put that in, and how we can also change the layout as well. A couple of things that you might have noticed as I was going along. It has said here, all changes saved in Drive. And if I click on this, I get a bit of version history. So at 10 past 4, there was no page. And by 22 minutes past 4, I've got this created. What's quite useful is if you've got multiple people working on the site, it will give you a track of all the changes and give you the ability, if you need to go back in time or restore a previous version, which is really useful. I've also got the ability to undo and redo my last action. So if I make a mistake and I want to undo, just as you would expect, you can undo and redo. Now, I know when we're designing websites, we want to be really thoughtful about how we can access different devices and what it's going to look like maybe for children who are using it on iPad or on their mobile phone, to how we're seeing it on, say, our Chromebook device or our Windows PC. So to kind of give you that preview, there is a preview option here, and it will load. So if I go to my support videos page, I can see here what it's looking like with a big screen that I've got. But if I bring this down to a tablet edition, this is what it's going to look like on the tablet. And if I bring it down again, this is what it's going to look like if they're looking at it on a mobile phone. And I guess it's really important to just have a look across all three, because you might see different elements that just need some adjustment in sizes, or just need to look a bit different. And you can use your website just like you would. So I can see I've got a menu here, and I think that's looking really nice. If you have any kind of problems when you're doing this preview mode, I would definitely say make sure you're using Google Chrome, because it will certainly work best in terms of previewing in that. But you can also report a problem down here, and I know the Google for Education team and the Google Sites team take time to look at every piece of feedback that comes in. You won't get a personalized response, but be assured if lots of people are experiencing the same problem, it is a problem that will be addressed and addressed pretty quickly. So I'm going to exit out of the preview there, and I'm just going to go back up to looking at what we've got. So that button there, which is currently grayed out, would allow me to copy the link to my website. So I'd like to copy the link to my website if I wanted to, say, share it out via email or social media or another way. But for now, let's look at this sharing settings. So if I click on the share with others option, I've got the ability to be able to see myself here as the owner of the document. I'm going to add myself as an editor, one of my other accounts that I have, and I'm going to leave this box ticked so that I get a little notified email to say that I've become an editor. Now, you could obviously add learners or other teachers in your organization to become an editor. And if I go back to share with others, you can see here that I've now been added as an editor. Going up to the settings option, I can turn off whether editors can publish or not publish my website and where they can add new people. So if I want to be the only person who can make changes and publish the website, then I would untick this box so only the owner has that control. And when I'm looking here, sometimes I might want someone to be an editor, other times I might just want them to be able to see the published document, so I can make them a published viewer. So they will only see the website when I've published it. I can also hand ownership to them, or I can remove them altogether. So I'll make that account a published viewer only, and I'll save that. You'll see there's a links option down the bottom there. We'll come back to the links option once we've got the site published. But all our sharing, in terms of sharing with just single individuals, for them to be viewers of the published site, or individuals who want to be able to edit the website with you, all of that happens in this share with others option, which is located just here. Okay, let's have a little look at the publish option. So when I go to publish a website, it will automatically suggest a URL address for me. So you've got sites.google.com, the domain that you're working on. So that, for example, would be fa.glow.scot for people who are in Falkirk, and then the name of the website. You'll only be able to use the name of the website if it's available and not being used by anybody else. And if you've got people in your share with others section and you've allowed them to be viewers, when you hit that publish button, they will get an email telling them that they can now view this website because they've been given permission to do that. So I'm going to publish that website on my demo domain now. I don't think anyone's ever going to look at it, but it's been published. So now I've pressed publish. You can see here I've got my copy link, so I can copy that link and share that straight out to people, which will be quite useful. I also have some options appear next to publish. So I've got some publish settings that I can have. So if I need to go back and change the name of the website, maybe because I made a typo or I've decided I actually want to call it hybrid learning instead of blended learning, I could change that URL in there. Looking at a few more of those settings, I have the option to be able to review any changes that have been made and publish the site. I can unpublish it, and I can also go to the live site that has been published. So this is what people will see when they land on the website. So they get this nice homepage experience, the option to go up to the support videos menu, and also that external link to the BBC. Now then, down in the bottom right-hand corner here, I've got the edit in page option. I have that because I'm an editor. Obviously, someone who is just a viewer would not have the option to be able to see that at all. Okay, I'm going to go back to my share with other settings. I can go to my links option here and press change. So at the moment, you can see the draft of the website is restricted to only people who I had named above, but the published site is available for anyone in the domain, which is my test domain. I can change that to just being back to restricted, so only people that I want. I can remove that link together and unpublish the website, or I can just make it public. And if I make it public, that would mean anyone on the internet would be able to see that site now. So I guess only staff have options to be able to do that in the Glow tenancy. But it's just worth remembering, if you want to create a website to be able to share resources nationally, then you'll want to use that public option and turn it on only when you've got something that you're happy to share with the wider world. I'm going to turn that on for now, though, so I'm going to press done. Okay. We've got a settings cog here. So looking at the settings cog, this is really useful. It allows us to start to brand our website a bit differently if we want to, and also change the look and feel of it. So at the moment, I've got that bar running at the top, but I can make it load at the side, for example, and they get the little menu bar icon appear there. And I can also choose whether I want the bar to be transparent, a white, or a black color. And you can see how it automatically changes the colors of text for me as well. I've got the ability to be able to brand it by adding logos or add favorite icons. So the favorite icon is the icon that just appears up here in your browser tab. So you can see that the little Twitter logo has that. So if you have a small 50 by 50 pixel image, you can upload that and people can create their own as well. So it just allows you to really personalize that experience of the website. Got some viewer tools as well. So I quite often turn some of these off. So show page, last time it was updated, I turn that off, but if you've got a site that you're regularly updating, then you might want to have that on. I turn off the contact form as well, because quite often that form isn't directing information to the right place. So I turn that off. This anchor links I leave on, and I think that's quite a useful tool, and I will show you what that is in a second. You can link your Google sites to Google Analytics if you want to kind of measure who's looking at your site and how long for. And if you've got a special announcement, then you can turn on a banner at the top and have some kind of personal options here. So I'll go for a kind of a really standout yellow button here, and I'll have that appear on all pages when I close it. So there we go, a kind of emergency banner, or if you want to make something stand out, then you can put that up there. Okay, so that's us look through the settings menu. One of the settings that I referenced when we were talking about was the anchor links. So what I'm going to do is insert in here a text box down the bottom here, and I'm going to make this text box a heading, and I'm going to just call my heading. I'm just going to pop in there. I'm going to publish this website again, and what's nice is it gives me a rundown of all the changes that have been made, so I can publish with confidence and feel really comfortable that I'm only wanting, I'm happy what's going to go out live on my website. So let's hit that publish button there. Lots of changes have been made, and then I'm going to go and view that published site to see what it's looking like. So that's good. So I'd spoken about the anchor links, and I've left them switched on. So on my heading here, I can have a copy hyperlink, and that's really useful if I want to be able to direct people, say to an email or a link put into my Microsoft Teams or Google Classroom. I can click on that anchor link, and when they follow that link, it will take them to that heading, and it will load that heading for them straight on the page. If you've got a long page, it will automatically scroll down to that option for you. Obviously, we can see all the information on this one page, so it hasn't scrolled down in this case, but it would scroll down on longer pages. Okay, so one last menu for us to have a little look at then is our More button here. So we've got our version history, so we can go through. I spoke earlier about children potentially creating e-portfolios using this Google Sites. So to do that, you might want to create a template in terms of placeholders, in terms of add a document that shows X here, write some reflection here. So you can add all the learners to the same Google site, and you can ask them to duplicate the site, and that will give them a copy of the site, and they can store that in their drive, and they can then add you as a viewer or an editor. And it just means that everyone has already got a template or a building block to work from. So it almost allows you to create your own template, for example, and share out a copy to everyone, which is really, really useful. As I said before, any problems that you come across, and I think the chances of that are quite small because it is a really robust system now. So do report them there. Any kind of questions, or if you want to kind of deeper dive into some of the things I've spoken about, there's of course the help option there, and the ability to take a tour, and that's what was offered to us at the start of the session, which I skipped. So you may wish to take that tour and then go back and take that tour again. But effectively what we've done there, and I appreciate it's not a very pretty website, but we've certainly spent a bit of time building a site there that we've got together in terms of being able to put a menu on it, several pages, linking those pages together, and being able to add some additional features. The final feature I'll show you is when you've got your site live, you get a really nice search box as well. And Google is pretty good at search. So if you've got content somewhere in the website, that search feature will absolutely be able to find it and share it with your user. So hopefully that's been a really useful introduction for you onto Google Sites. Kind of a slow and steady walkthrough. Didn't make anything very pretty, just dropped some items in to kind of show you how it would look. There's real flexibility in terms of what you can add to your Google site in terms of Microsoft Documents as well as Google Documents, and in terms of being able to have control over who has access to be able to view your website as well. You can choose to have it really open and public for lots of people to view, or you can be really selective about the learners. Do drop in the comments any questions you have about Google Sites, and I'm sure there'll be future webinars to come, which will show you a little bit of a deeper dive or a bit more information about how to use some of those tools and make those sites look really professional and really good. All I can say is good luck, and let me know how you get on. Thanks very much for watching.